935 KDAY. Listen, this is exciting for me because, listen, I have this guy in the studio. You have seen him all around LA, but he's my friend.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Mando Fresko. Thank you so much for being here today.
I'm so happy to be here.
This
Cece.
is crazy, right?
I got so much love and so much respect for you, and you know I love the show, and I love you since forever. And you know, I gotta say this before we start. When we first met, you and I,
Right.
you show love from the get.
Thank you. I
There
do.
are a lot of people in this industry, and Cece is one of the realest. I just want to
Thank
go
you.
on record saying that.
No,
So,
I
Cece,
appreciate that.
Thank you for having
No,
me.
listen, it's crazy because now Power 106 and KDAY, what we're talking about is our sister station. But before they were sister stations, they were just regular radio stations doing their own thing. And I would be driving down the freeway and I would be tapped into Power and I would DM Mando and I'd be like, yo, that's a dope break. Oh my God. I just love it. When I DM you and say things like that, I would be like,
real.
that break is so dope. The transitions. But this is radio language here. But I just loved hearing you on the radio. It was just so infectious, like your energy.
Thank you. So, you know, radio is my first love. And, you know, I remember just listening to Romeo, you know, like, and before I even was in radio and, you know, when he was with the Goodfellas and Tito back in the day, like, it was so refreshing to hear that energy and that inspired me to like follow a career in radio, and now we're here.
And now listen, for those who have never heard, and I can't believe you've never heard, we're talking about Mando and Friends. Can you explain to our viewers that are getting introduced to it for the very first time about Mando and Friends?
Yeah, so Mando and Friends, we created the show at the peak of the pandemic. And that's when everything shut down, and we decided to create a show to try to like uplift the spirits and motivate our culture, you know, the Latino culture and the Black and brown culture. And we've also brought in, you know, all cultures now. You know, the Asian community. We had Chef Roy Choi on the show, and it's all about the beautiful eclectic culture that is Los Angeles and from like LA to the world, right? So we created the show. It's about mental health. It's about breaking stigmas. It's about breaking the machismo way of thinking that we were, you know, grown into thinking was the way. You know, I grew up in a Mexican family, very traditional, and we're breaking all those cycles. We're breaking all those stigmas, and we're going deep. Like, people are crying on the show.
Really?
Cece.
Wait, well, can we talk about some of the guests that you've had on the show?
Yeah. We've had Chiqui Rivera recently.
Yes.
We just had Kate del Castillo on the premiere of season 3. We've had Jaime Camil, Omar Chaparro. We've had Chef Roy Choi. We've had a lot of great personalities. And what's beautiful is that we're not just focusing on just one, like the athletes, or it's like pop culture, whether you do a sneaker customization we had the shoe surgeon on there.
Oh, that's dope. I like the shoe
we
surgeon.
had, you know, a chef, which was Roy Choi. We have actors, we have athletes, so it's a really beautiful thing. And we had Anjelah Johnson on there too, and
she's dope.
She talks about her dad that was on season 2, and she's like, my dad made me who I am. He's the reason why I'm successful. He's also the reason why I'm in therapy.
No way.
Yeah. So it goes deep. Like,
yeah.
And we have fun too, you know. So it goes deep into you know, childhood, why someone got into the industry that they're in, how they fell in love with it, that moment when they first fell in love with it. And then, you know, we go deep into Jaime Camil is one of we just dropped the trailer for season 2, and one of the things he says is, Mando, you're going deep, man. You're going deep, bro.
Yeah. Well, we have to. Sometimes you have to. No, not sometimes. You always have to kind of dig deep to get to the root of the problem or the root of what's bothering you, you know? And the fact that you are hitting all these stigmas and, you know, as Latinos, we were taught that we don't need to air out our dirty laundry. We keep it at home. You know, we don't need to go to talk to anybody else, 100%. You know? So I love that you're doing that. But when you did it, you just said, I decided to do this during the peak of the pandemic. one, I would be like, yo, that's hard.
It was.
Nobody was coming out. You know what I mean? Everybody was staying in. So you had to figure out this creative way to kind of help people.
Yeah, and what was even more difficult is that people wanted to do like Zoom, like video conference interviews, right?
Right.
So we figured out a way to bring people in. We had a plexiglass
No,
wall,
you didn't.
Cece.
Yes.
We were like 12 feet away from each other, but we made it work. And now we're 3 years in.
That's
and
awesome.
We have over 300 million streams and impressions, like some record-breaking stuff from a podcast and from a Latino podcast too. It's something that I'm really proud of. There's a lot of noise out there, and as you know, like negativity is so easy to sell. It's it's positivity that is hard for people to take in. Sometimes it's even more difficult.
On social media, you can go see a video and it has garnered millions of views, and it's people fighting, right?
Yeah.
Maybe two people fighting. You'll see something about somebody that really made a difference for our community, and they don't even have the views.
That's real.
And to me, that is so discouraging, So how do you fight against something like that?
Well, we have to be the difference, DC. We have to be the difference. It's us versus that. And I feel like there's in the pandemic, there was a shift, right? Like there's been a shift in a lot of ways, a lot of things, and mental health is one of the things that came forward. We all struggle with. I started doing therapy during the pandemic. And I openly talk about it on the show. I'm an advocate of therapy, of mental health therapy. And I think it's a beautiful thing, how I've grown as a person, and I got my family starting to do it too. My sister's doing it. My mom's doing it now. And
how does because you come from a Latino family,
Yeah.
how does what's your family's take on the podcast? Because I'm sure as you're digging deep and as you're getting intimate with some of, some of these celebrities that you have on the show, you got to sometimes share kind of what you've been going through and what
For
you've
sure.
been raised. So how does your family, you know what I mean? How do they deal with that?
Well, let me just talk about therapy, finish with that in the sense of, when I brought up therapy at first with my family, my dad was like, therapy? No, yo no estoy loco, right? Like,
Right.
he thinks that someone has to be crazy to do therapy, and that's one of the misconceptions about mental health is we all go through it. We just don't all have the tools, and that's something that we talk about on the show. And in Black and Brown communities, we lack resources sometimes, many times, most times, and when it comes to my family, at first they were a little
Taken aback?
a little like, what, why are you sharing so much? But you know what? I think it's sharing for the good, right?
Right.
It's for the greater good, and to again inspire, to motivate, to just bring awareness, and 50% of the things that I say, my dad still doesn't understand, so it's all good. I just wink at him and be like, "Oh, sí, pa, sí, dije algo bueno. I said something good," and he's like, "Okay." So it's just really cool to see my parents too as fans of the show.
That's awesome. I love
Super
that.
cool. And
yes.
he's a big fan of like Kate del Castillo. He's a big fan of like Omar and Chaparro and Jaime Camil and those, Chiqui Rivera. So he just enjoys. They enjoy the show, and it's brought our family closer. I think, and hopefully, we are touching some lives for the better. And for
Well,
the greater
listen,
good.
it's working because now you guys are working on season 3.
Yeah.
And that is so awesome. Congratulations on that. What can we expect from season 3? Or can I say who can we expect from season 3?
I could tell you that for season 3, we're going bigger. We're going, just large scale, on the sense of we're going the size of the magnitude of impact that we're going to be talking. Like the topics are going to be so much deeper. And I know some people are like, I know Vero was like, can you really go that much deeper? Pause. Yes, we can. We're gonna, also bring in some big names that I can't mention right now. We have Luis Guzman.
I love him. He's
that is
awesome.
gonna be our next on our next show. And like I said, Kate del Castillo.
That's dope.
I'm a big fan of hers. I grew up on novelas. She had the novela Muchachitas back in the day that I grew up with. and we talk about that. We talk about pretty much from childhood to where they are now, you know,
and kind of like the obstacles and certain things that they had to get through to make it to be successful.
Right.
Yeah, and I love that a Latino is hosting this, because I can only imagine, speaking from a Latina's point of view, it's so hard being a brown girl in this industry, trust me. But I could only imagine how much harder it must be to be a black or brown man. You have so much that is carried on you, so much that is expected of our brown men, and sometimes, our black and brown men get judged really quick without even getting to talk to them, getting to know them, and they have so much to offer. So I love that you're opening the doors and you're starting the conversation, and you're kind of making you're making it normal to talk about this, and that's what it should be.
Yeah, we're normalizing that conversation, and that's our main goal. I would also love to give you your flowers, Cece, because it's not easy to be, a Latino, Latina, Latinx in this industry, and you've done it flawlessly. You've done it for many years, and I always see you at like the biggest events, and I know we're both LAFC fans too.
Yes.
We can talk about that.
Shout out to the LAFC. Yes, black and gold.
But yeah, when it comes to being a Latino male, talking about these things, I think that's what really drives me the most. Really,
right.
Because it's about shedding light, bringing light to these topics, and we talk about crime, we talk about being emotional. Something that we've never talked about really in a mass scale like that. And like Latino men, a Mexican man talking openly that it's okay to cry.
Yeah.
And it's
because they're not raised that way.
Right.
It's
we weren't.
Not.
Growing up, I was told los niños no lloran, right? Boys don't cry. And as I was growing up, I got older, it was los hombres no lloran, men don't cry. And I believed it at one point, Cece, and it's not the right way to raise our kids, our team,
especially our boys that are growing into men. Because imagine, as a young Latino, you're told not to cry.
Yeah.
Growing up, you can't cry. All you can do as a black and brown man is hold all that inside, and then it busts loose, and then you don't know how to control it. We have to learn how to maintain our feelings, maintain our emotions, and we got to teach our men that. And I empathize with our men, because they have to hold in so much to portray this macho, ness that, for what?
That's one of the things that we talk about, machismo, toxic masculinity. We talk about, just getting emotional, it being okay to cry. We had Emilio Rivera, and this is one of the guests that we were going to have on season 3.
So he did drop a name,
exclusive!
Guys. We're good. Okay, yeah. Shout out to Emilio.
Exclusive.
That's the OG right there.
I know you've had a conversation with Emilio.
I love him and his wife. They're amazing. Yes.
Emilio's amazing, and when you think about Emilio Rivera, Mayans, you think about like this strong Mexican Chicano
very
man,
much, yes.
Right? He got very emotional, and to hear him talk about, hey, it being okay to cry, and I'm when I tell you he got emotional, it got deep, Cece, and that made me happy. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Emilio, don't come after me. It didn't make me happy.
No, you
that
know what?
Cried.
But you know what? You make the guests feel so comfortable that they feel like they can be vulnerable with you. And to me, that's a blessing. That's a testimony to you and the passion you have behind your show.
Yeah, definitely.
So where can they watch Mando and Friends at?
Yeah, so you can get Mando and Friends, stream it now wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Spotify, we're on SoundCloud, we're on Apple Podcasts, YouTube as well, and on hubwave.com. That's my media company, Hubwave. You can check it out right there on hubwave.com.
Well, listen, before I let you go, I want to encourage you, and I'm going to put you on the spot. This is all on film. I want to put you on the spot, and I want to encourage you to maybe possibly doing like an open forum where you can invite some guests, because I think this is a great conversation. I think that you're opening the doors for more conversation to happen. And I think there's a lot of people that would love to see this. I mean, so I'm encouraging you to do something live, Mando, like a panel with viewers, with some of, your listeners to come in. I mean, we need this. We need more of this.
I love that. Yeah. And thank you again, Cece, for the love and the continue, and I have so much love for you because of that. It's reciprocated from day one.
Yes.
I love that idea too.
Yeah. So Veronica, can we work on that, Veronica? We're gonna just Veronica said yes. Yeah, we got an okay right there. I just want to be a little fly on the wall so that I can go ahead and learn some things too.
Vero on our team, she makes things happen.
No, she does.
Yeah, we got to make that happen. I would love that. Yeah, it's important, now more than ever, CC. And there's been a lot of violence in Los Angeles, in the world, and a lot of negativity online. And again, we have to be the difference. Now is the time.
That we need more people to push that good out,
Yeah.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mando. Where can they follow you at really quick?
Yeah. Follow me at Mando Fresko, at Hubwave Media, MandoFresko. Cece,
Yeah.
you're the best.
I appreciate you. And he's all around LA, so you guys will definitely see him.